Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Hui Hui. Today we are here because of Human Rights Day 2016. And this Human Rights Day was because of the United Nations. And I'm here today, thankfully, because of the United Nations. You know why? Because in Singapore, the government is not afraid of the FIDH. The government is not afraid of Human Rights Watch. The government is not afraid of Singaporeans. The government is not afraid of the people. But the government is afraid of United Nations. They respond to them. But when it comes to us, the government don't respond to us. When we ask them for transparency towards our CPF money, there is no accountability. When we ask them for accountability towards the death of youth who have died because of police interrogation, there is no answer. And then some people say, what is the government afraid of in Singapore? Two things, Little India riot and China bus driver strike. The government is more afraid of the foreigners than more afraid of Singaporeans. Why? Just turn around and look at all of you. How many of you are here today? Why would the government be afraid? This is Hong Lim Park, they say, not Hong Kong. But if this is Hong Kong, we will not be in Hong Lim Park only. And this is not like Hong Lim Park anymore. This is a limited park. Limited to who? Limited to Ting Pei Ling coming here with barricades, with fences surrounding her. Limited to Lee Hsien Loong bringing his wife here to take selfie together. But when we ask them, what happened to our CPF money? What is the Temasek Holding doing? How are they transferring the money? They say that, no, the money is not transferred from CPF directly to Temasek. Of course, it is transferred to a third party then there. And it is because of them doing all this kind of underhand tactics with our money. This is why we have the 1MDB saga. Then some people say, okay, if let's say the government is so bad, if there is no human rights in Singapore, why am I speaking here? Why am I not banned? Are you sure I'm not banned? If we have realized from NPark's website, and we have realized for the past 5 days, the government banned me from speaking at Hong Lim Park. Thankfully, I sent the email out, and I sent it to the ISD as well. And they realized that I sent it to a lot of people all over the world. It is only because of that. It is only because of this overseas human rights organization sending emails to pressurize them. That is why I get to speak here today. I have to fight for my rights. Are you going to fight for your rights? Yes. But that's not enough. Yes. 2,630 people, the votes, that's not enough to change the government. How many of you volunteer and really help out to do groundworks and really talk to Singaporeans? How many of you really help out and check out what is happening at the various stations? If you see for yourself what is happening inside, if you see for yourself how things can be gone in front of your eyes, you will realize if you want to deal with the PAP, if you really want your money back, if you really want to have a better life, you have to do something about it. And there are people who say, Hui Hui, aren't you here at Hong Lim Park in 2013? Didn't you say that you want to become pregnant and become a mother? But do you know what happened to people who went to jail? What happened to their babies? Do you know what happened when people go through the court trial when they are pregnant? What happened to their babies? Do you know the kind of stress that you face when you're undergoing trial? Do you know how many people have pleaded guilty? Do you know how many people do not have legal assistance in Singapore? And out of 10 lawyers in Singapore, 9 of them quit their job. Why? Aren't they supposed to fight for justice? The government tells us GST is a tax to help the poor. Did GST really help the poor? Did GST really help the poor? They help themselves. Ministry of Foreign Affairs overspent and squandered away about 200 million of our money just because they refuse to check their telco services. Next, they built a rubbish bin for how much? 470,000, and 410,000 are spent on consultancy fee. To who? Is it to their own cronies? They say Han Hui Hui only know how to go to Honglim Park and shout ROC. What is ROC? But some people say it is not return our CPF. We are at the Republic of China. Is it true? No. This is cronyism. The government spend and send all their people. They spend money and send all their people to sit on the board of directors of Singtel, M1, and StarHub. And all these people are the same people who are manipulating our media on the board of director of SPH as well. They tell us SPH has the most read newspaper. It is the most read because it is the only newspaper in Singapore. Next, the government say, don't worry, we will take care of our youth, our future generation. The government spent money for more than 400 million on foreigners. And not only that, these are for scholarships. And about 40 million worth of money, these people ran away and no prompt action was taken against them. Not only that, more than 500 million worth of money were not being taken back. People take the loans and they don't return the money. Is it because Singaporeans can't afford it? Is it because Singaporeans come out, they look for a job, they can't find it, and that's why they don't have the money to return it? They say Singapore's education have changed and it has become better. There is an increase of 107% of Singapore youth, teenagers, 10 to 19 years old, who committed suicide last year. 107% increase, our youth dying away. Is this what they want? Is this what you have been voting for a better Singapore? They tell us healthcare is getting better. They renamed the CPF healthcare scheme and they call it another name, basic healthcare sum. And then how much is it? $49,800. They tell us they are giving us higher interest, better things for our CPF, better interest rate and everything. But our CPF minimum sum has been increased to 161,000. That makes a total of $210,800 in total for Singaporeans to have in their CPF account. How many Singaporeans can have such an amount of money? How many of you have been to CPF board? Outside CPF board, there are at least 5 people guarding the gate so that you can't enter. And they will be there to try to persuade you not to enter to take your money. Only if you want to deposit money, they let you enter. Is this the kind of government that we want? They say CPF is our money, but why are they doing this to us? They make us have fair hike, fair increase every year. But after the increase, is our public transport becoming better? No, it breaks down even more frequently. And after this increase, what did they do? They tell us the money will be well spent. But SMRT alone has more than 100 million worth of profit last year. And this doesn't include SBS. So how much are all these bus company, trains company earning from Singaporeans? They did not say. And not only that, the government now wants to buy it back from them at a high amount of money. Why? To give this sum of money from our taxpayers' money, from our public fund to who? To channel it, to private it. Then they can say it's their own bonus. They can put it back into their own pocket. Is this the kind of government that we want? To transfer money into their own company and then after that put it back into their own pocket? They tell us, you know, you guys take public transport, at least you don't have to worry if you oversleep. But you know what? They themselves say they have 2 cars because everybody have a car. But in Singapore, in order to go in a car, you need to buy COE. How much is the COE? According to yesterday's news, the COE is 50,000. 50,000 on top of the price of a car for Singaporeans to own a vehicle. What happens to families who need to bring their kids? What happens to families with young children who need to go to the hospital when the babies are crying? Did they care about that? No, they didn't. They only care about themselves. Because why? They are professionals, so they need 2 cars. What about Singaporeans? They say Singaporeans don't need much space to have sex. Don't need much space to have sex. Why? Because she lives in a bungalow. Her not much space is a bungalow. Their 600,000 are peanuts. But what about Singaporeans? We don't even have 200,000 in our CPF account. If we reached the CPF minimum sum years ago, if let's say Singaporeans have 100,000 inside, now they can't take it out. Especially young Singaporeans. How many young Singaporeans are speaking up? Ask yourself. Look online, search. How many Singaporeans born in the 1990s and 90s dare to speak up? How many of them are even speaking up? And when they speak out, people criticize them. Now, this is Human Rights Day. But what is the Prime Minister doing? The Prime Minister is still unhappy that Donald Trump is not going to sign the TPP. But you know what? There are a lot of treaties that Lee Hsien Loong did not sign as well. Lee Hsien Loong did not sign the United Nations CAT. Why is that? It's a treaty to stop torture. Did he care? No, he don't care about Singaporeans being tortured. That's why we have ISD. Lee Hsien Loong did not sign the United Nations CED. On what? Disappearance of people. Why? So that they can lock you up in police station for 8 hours without food. Lee Hsien Loong did not sign United Nations Treaty on social economic rights. Why? Because social economic rights is our public housing, public health care, our public transport, and our public pension fund, our retirement fund. And they do not want to be accountable for that. And on these human rights, I ask you to spread the word so that more Singaporeans become aware of all this that's happening. Thank you.